What's up, guys? Welcome to Movie Importance Flashback Reviews, where we take a look at movies from our past and reminisce about them. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button at the top, and comment below on any of these videos. So today I'm going to talk about a movie that is officially 30 years old as of July 21st. It actually came out July 21st, 1989, and came out in the summer of Batman with Michael Keaton. And that movie, of course, stars Weird Al Yankovic and is directed by his manager, Jay Levy, and of course is called UHF. And UHF is a movie that is very in the line of Naked Gun or Top Secret, anything that Abrams brothers did, and is very weird and oddball and just crazy to watch. You know, there's a lot of interstitial spoofing going on, and it's still a fun movie. It made no money, it did no business, it was very underseen, but it gained a cult following because of who and what Weird Al is, which is a parody music comedian, musician, I guess you could say. And it's a movie that has a plot in some respect, but the plot is kind of underlining the interstitial parts, I guess in essence, you could put it as. And it's a story about Weird Al Yankovic, who plays George, and George, his friend, who is played by David Bowe. They are two guys who were just down on their luck. They can't find success. They're always getting fired from their job. George's uncle ends up winning this TV station called UHF 62 through a poker game, and he gives it to his nephew to run. And George takes the station. He gets excited. He takes his friend with him, and they create content for this station. But it's a failing station. It does reruns, and nothing they're doing works. And it fails. And they have like a week before they're gonna lose money. And in the process, George, he receives this package, and he goes to one of the big news stations, which is run by Kevin McCarthy's character, RJ Fletcher. And he finds that RJ Fletcher is just a complete nasty human being, and he basically is kicked out of the news station, we'll put it that respect. And he runs into this character played by Michael Richards, who plays Stanley Spadowski. And Stanley Spadowski is a simpleton type of character. He's a guy that is very loyal, but he is just pushed aside by this news station. So George hires him. He makes him his custodian. Well, as everything fails, as George just kind of gives up, Victoria Jackson, who plays his girlfriend Betty, she is kind of just, because he forgets everything, he's a daydreamer, blah blah blah. She just dumps him. So he gives Stanley the show that he's been doing, which is Mr. Nutsy's Funhouse, and walks away. And why him and David, his friend, go to a bar to have drinks to kind of just be done with everything, he learns that Stanley is extremely popular. How he's extremely popular so quickly is mind-boggling, but we'll put that aside because it's whatever it is. And he develops an idea to make Stanley the flagship show for this UHF station. And not only does it work, not only do they get revenue from ads and so on and so forth, but they take over the news. They take over the big stations. They become that big station. They're the number one station because of Stanley Spadowski. And because Michael Richards commits to the role so well, you believe that he is one of the people like us that really cares and really tries and just knows how to be weird and goofy and just that kind of TV personality. So, but not only are we getting that, but we're getting the Kevin McCarthy story, the RJ Fletcher story, where, like I said, he is not a good human being. He will step over his own family to get ratings, to take over the world, basically. And so what he does is, when he learns about the UHF station basically becoming number one, he devises a plan to like ruin the station, whether it be whatever means. And he is like foiled at every moment, but then he kidnaps Stanley Spadowski when they're doing it, because George's uncle loses $75,000 to a car loan shark. He has to find a way to make that money back in 2 days. Well, he's going to sell the UHF station to RJ Fletcher, who is more than willing to tear down UHF to become that ratings giant again. And they have to devise a way to make money through a telethon and so on and so forth. And you know how it's going to play out. RJ Fletcher's going to lose and George is going to win. UHF is going to be the big station that it is. And it's a fun story. It's not a very complex story, but it allows Weird Al and company, Victoria Jackson and Kevin McCarthy, and David Bowe and Gedde Watanabe. Just a chance to breathe and have fun. Apparently, Kevin McCarthy really loved doing this movie. He really had fun with it. He would laugh after every take and so on and so forth. So he enjoyed what he was doing. And it really shows because he chews scenery like it's going out of style. He is perfect as a villain. If you've ever seen Interspace, he is that type of role where he's just goofy and over the top, but you really just want to see him fail. And when he does, it's really a lot of fun. But this movie also delves into like the odd and weird and obscure. Like every show that when you watch this, you're like, there's no way this station would be, well, maybe in this day and age, but in the past, this station would never be this successful because they're doing a lot of weird content. There's stuff like The Wheel of Fish. There's stuff like, Gandhi 2, Conan the Librarian. There's the Mr. Nutsy's Funhouse, which is really weird. When Stanley Spadowski takes over, it's almost like a Bozo the Clown show, which is a really famous show. And there's just a lot of weird stuff like that. And just like, you're like for instance, there's a guy who runs like pet shop out of his house, and he's like throwing animals out the window, and he's like sticking turtles up in the wall and stuff like that. And like some of their trailers or TV spots are for like Spatula City or this weird funeral home and so on and so forth. It's a very weird movie. But so was Naked Gun, so was Top Secret, so was Airplane. They're just movies that take the genre and run with it, the spoof genre, and they do it well. This movie does it well, whether you like Weird Al or not. And I know Siskel and Ebert didn't like this movie. A lot of critics didn't like this movie. This is a fan movie. You have to like Weird Al to really love this movie, but you can still love this movie as a spoof movie. Another character that's in this is Fran Drescher, who plays the secretary who wants to be a reporter, and you really feel for her because she is a person that George and his friend really enveloped to be that reporter. But of course, the male driven news stations at the time, women reporting was very hard to get into in the 80s. And I just love Fran Drescher in this. I'm not a big Fran Drescher fan because of her annoying voice, but she has her moments. She's funny in this movie a lot as well, and she does have some good moments. So but like I said, this movie does weirdness for weirdness sake. It's not a perfect movie. It does, like, some of the weirdness moments go a little too far, a little too off ball. The weird Wheel of Fish stuff is just out there. And there's a guy who works in the control booth who's named Philo, and he's just this weird, eccentric guy who may or may not be an alien. The reveal comes at the end, but he's also like scheming ways to take down the big news station, stuff like that. There's some really cool moments. But it's just like that kind of stuff when you see like George walk into that room and you see like beakers of weird liquid and so on and so forth. It's just fun. And when they do Philo's basement, that's a lot of fun too. But this movie is just weird. There's nothing else I can say about it. This is what Weird Al does. He is a guy who creates parody music, and he decided he wanted to do a movie. I wish this movie had gained a bigger following because I think it would have gotten a lot more love than it did. But the fact that it has a cult following now is nice. And the fact that it shows you that sometimes movies shouldn't be released in the summer, that when movies like Batman come out, then maybe you should stick it in like the February area or maybe like the September, October area. Because it was produced by Orion, they thought they had a big hit because Weird Al is a huge star at this time. He had done stuff like Fat, and so on and so forth, doing just crazy parody music. And they thought this movie was going to be pretty big. And of course, when you watch it, there's no way this movie was going to be big. If it only made like $1 million. So, I mean, the fact that it even got released out in the summer is still mind boggling to me. But like I said, there's also a Weird Al song in this when he does the Beverly Hillbillies, Money for Nothing, Dire Straits song. He does a parody of that. And that's a lot of fun because he uses the same CG footage that you see in Dire Straits video and uses it to effect and so on and so forth with his, what he does. And like I said, the two interstitials with like the Rambo and Indiana Jones are a lot of fun. So it's a movie that is very weird. It's a movie that's very offbeat, but if you like Naked Gun, please check it out. I know a lot of people probably haven't heard of this movie. If you have, thank you, because I feel like I'm alone sometimes in this. But yeah, it's fun. So anyways, that'll do it for my take on UHF. Congratulations on your 30th anniversary, and that'll do it. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button at the top, and comment below if you've seen UHF. If not, please see it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you don't like it, that's perfectly fine. It's a weird movie, so I expect it. But anyways, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for checking out Movie Emporium. I really appreciate it. If you want to, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification button and the bell at the top. Find out what's coming next for Movie Emporium. Also, check out these 2 videos. They're amazing. I think they're awesome. I think you'll enjoy them too. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.